Hey guys, what's up? Today I just want to quickly talk about and let's bring up an idea that we're going to actually spend significant time this fall really digging deep into, but it's really the point of this, why it's so important that you and I don't get caught napping. I mean, if you've ever heard of that idea, it's a phrase in sports that's kind of imagine a goalie in soccer. Many of you are playing soccer right now. You've had your first game this week. Good effort. I know that last of that game wasn't where you wanted it to go, but still, good job. But imagine a goalie in soccer. You're up. You guys may have experienced this week. You're ahead. The game is focused, and all of a sudden, it's kind of like the wheels just fall off. I mean, everybody's prepared. Everybody has practiced well. They know what's going on. They're in the middle of the game, and all of a sudden, it's kind of like, where were you? You see, if you are caught napping in a sport or in a real life experience, it's one of those moments where you really unexpectedly just fall apart. It's one of those moments where you miss out on an amazing opportunity to stop a goal. The ball goes right through, and there's no reason for it. I mean, it's kind of like, how did you miss out on that? Were you sleeping? And I want to just bring up right now that I wonder, for myself, but for all of us, that if this is one of those seasons that can be extremely detrimental, if and only if we're caught napping. If this COVID-19 season, we're 5 months in, or actually a little over 5 months into this pandemic, and let's just say we had 5 months more, or even a week more, is it possible, I think it's extremely true, that if we are caught napping in this season, three terrible things are going to happen. First of all, we're going to miss out. We're going to miss out on an opportunity to either discover ourselves, we're going to miss out on an opportunity to experience, as we'll see over the next few weeks, all the things that Jesus has for us, what we are made more for, that we're going to miss out on all the things that Jesus is prepping and preparing for you and I to experience. But we're also going to experience as a result of that a setback that we don't want and don't anticipate. And a setback that maybe you and I right now feel like we're experiencing, but we don't have to. A setback that COVID itself can't cause. I'm going to say our reactions do. If you and I are caught napping in this season, if we don't see the amazing that Jesus is doing for us, I just wonder if we're going to experience a setback, we don't have to. But most importantly, on top of that, when we miss out on this opportunity because we're caught napping, and we experience a personal setback, we're not the only ones. You know how this works. There's nothing more frustrating to be on a team in soccer, and you're like, where were you, goalie? Like, we did everything you could, and you let that ball go in? Like, where were you? When you and I personally miss out on opportunities that were right there in front of us for a lot of reasons and experience personal setbacks, others are going to lose. And this is not just a game for yourself. So many of you have experienced this with your parents' decisions in your life, that when we are caught napping, not ready, not prepared, don't take opportunities to see what God is doing, and we succumb to the circumstances around us, bad things happen. There's a story we're going to look at over the next few weeks I just want to briefly bring up that highlights this. You see, the disciples in Matthew 26, it's the very end of Jesus' earthly ministry. They've already had the Last Supper. It's that last night. It's Maundy, Thursday. It's the Thursday before Jesus dies. It's late at night. And Jesus, right before he's arrested, and then goes through the trials and gets crucified, he goes to a garden to pray, the Garden of Gethsemane or the Mount of Olives, and he prays. He takes his disciples there, and he goes, stone throws away, and he prays one of the most heart-wrenching prayers ever recorded. Lord, not my will be done, but yours. But in that environment where Jesus is literally setting in place the final pieces to literally give us the greatest gift humanity has ever received, the sacrifice of himself, his death on the cross and his ultimate resurrection 3 days later. Jesus looks at his disciples and he says, would you please watch and pray? He says, there's an amazing thing's about to go happen, but I need you to watch and pray. He says, the spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak. And Jesus, 3 times, he goes and prays for an hour and comes back and he finds his disciples asleep. He catches them napping. And every time he goes, you couldn't for an hour, Peter? You couldn't for an hour keep watch with me? And interestingly enough, the story goes that on the 3rd time, Jesus comes back. He's frustrated. He's like, again, you're still napping? And he goes, there is my accuser. And the moment when Jesus pleads with them, Please see what's happening over here. Don't succumb to your emotions, because this was a traumatic time. We'll talk about that in the coming weeks. This was a traumatic time for them. They had every reason to fall asleep. I mean, they knew why they actually were caught napping. They tell us that in all of their accounts. And yet, as a result of them being caught napping, you have Peter slicing off an ear, you have all of them scattering, and they, as a result of being caught napping, miss out on this amazing thing that Jesus is doing over for them right in front of them. And they go through so much turmoil. They, as a group, experience the turmoil of their leaders, Peter, James, and John, who were brought closer to Jesus to hear the prayers. They experienced the turmoil of them being caught napping. I mean, they literally experienced a setback. They missed out on an opportunity. And a lot of people experience a falter, not because of the circumstances they experienced, but because they were caught napping when they had an opportunity to grasp everything Jesus was offering for them. So I know that you're like me and you're tired. Today was a really hard day to get out of bed. I was tired. I know that you're tired. Many of your parents have told me that you have come home from school in this past week and you have just fallen asleep. That maybe you have desired to take a nap. I just want to say it really quick. It is imperative that in this season, we don't get caught napping. Because I really believe Jesus is over here doing an amazing work for you and I. And he is pleading for us. Please pray and watch with me. Because the spirit is willing. But for all of us, we know this. The flesh is weak. So let me ask you. Is it possible right now that you are napping and ignoring and missing all the amazing things that Jesus can actually do in your life and teach you and prepare for you in this season? Are you overcome with the emotions that are going on around you? Are you distracted by other desires and wants? Is it possible that you and I are right now napping, prepared, literally, to miss out on an amazing opportunity for growth, experience a setback where we're not where we should be, and actually impact and negatively affect those around us? Because even though Jesus warned us, even though Jesus showed us, and even though you've had people around you telling you, hey, grow in this opportunity, that you and I missed out because we were caught